name's Annette and welcome back to Cotto Verde. Today I thought I'd give you the long-awaited update on all the seeds that I've sown so far this year and the bulbs that I've planted. I always promise in my videos that I'll keep you updated, and I probably haven't done as good a job with that as I would have liked. So today I'm going to take you through everything that I've sown so far. I'm going to start with the things that I've got in the greenhouses outside. These are little zippy greenhouses. I don't have a proper greenhouse yet. And then I'll show you the tulips and how they're doing in the pots that I planted up. And then I'm going to show you what I've got in the cold frames and the things that I'm hardening off outside at the moment. And then I'll take you inside and I'll show you everything that I've got on my grow shelves inside and talk about the things that I'm starting now. We've got about 4 to 6 weeks until our last frost, and I'm really hoping it's 4 weeks because I'm really eager to get some things out into the garden. But I've still got a few seeds that I want to sow. Anyway, let's start. I'll start off with the greenhouses. These are my 3 zippy greenhouses here. And this one is the one that I have open all the time, and it's got the autumn sown sweet peas in it, and right on the top shelf still I've got my succulents, or the succulent babies, because I've been propagating them. And then just on the ground outside, so they get the most sun possible, I've got my Dara, which is the wild carrot. And then these 2 greenhouses here, I have been closing up at night if it's got below 5 degrees. And in this greenhouse, I've got all of my Ranunculus and anemones. And then on the table over here is what I have in this greenhouse, which is more Ranunculus and anemones. So what I'm going to do is give you a close-up of everything so you can see how everything's doing. So I don't know if you can see, but there's actually quite a lot of shade on these greenhouses after lunch, and that is because there's quite a big tree in next door's garden that sort of is casting a shadow this way, and so they don't get full sun. So I like to take everything out of the greenhouses to give them the most sun possible. So what I've got here are my 2 trays of Daucus carota. So this one is white. Yep, they're all white, and this one is Dara, which is more of a red colour, and they've done really well, but they actually haven't grown very much in the last few weeks. I can see some little new growth, so there are little bits of new growth there, so they're definitely fine. There's another little bit of new growth there. So they're doing okay, but I think these can actually go out in the ground, and that is what I'm going to be doing this weekend. I'm going to be getting all of these out into the ground. So the other thing that I've got in this greenhouse are all my autumn sown sweet peas. I don't know if you can see them. So they're all doing pretty well. These are the ones that I had some damping off. I had quite a lot of damping off with these, and they have recovered. They've recovered nicely, and they're all branching. And these are the hardy perennial sweet peas, this end, and then this end are the ones, these are the annuals. And you know, they're not as big and bushy as I would like them to be, but that's probably because I've been hardening them off and giving them quite a lot of cold and not protecting them. But I think they will definitely do really well when I get them out into the garden, and I'm planning to get these all into the garden this weekend too. All my sweet peas are going to go out. And then on the top, right at the top of that greenhouse, I've got all my little propagation trays of succulents. So I'm going to be using these out in the garden this year. I've got a lot of succulents inside, but it's really exciting to grow little baby succulents. They're so cute. As you can see, like basically you just plant a leaf and it grows a little baby plant off it, and it's so clever. Can you see that one there? Let me see if I can. It's hard to show you. Anyway, they're so clever and so cute. So that I keep those on the top shelf so they get the most light, and also they get some heat. But I want them to start getting used to being outside, which is why I've got them in the greenhouse. So in this next greenhouse, the middle one, it's where I've got all of my Ranunculus and anemones. I don't have that many anemones. It's mostly Ranunculus this year, and they're doing really well, and they're quite tough. And I could probably put these out in the garden. I just don't want the squirrels to get them. So I'm reluctant to plant them at the moment. I'm thinking of getting some sort of netting or something to put over them, and then I can get them out in the garden, because I think they're ready to go. They look really good and they're getting really big. Some of them aren't doing as well as others, so this is a really good tray. And then this tray, I didn't get so many, so I don't know what happened, or whether they're just slower. Like obviously this one grew really fast and this one is only just breaking the soil now. So I don't know whether I should wait for these. Anyway, I'll see when I start planting them out. I'll have a dig around and see if they're creating roots. Sometimes you can see by looking at the bottom if there are roots. So you can see there are roots coming out on that one there, but I can't see any on the others. So yeah, some of my trays look like that. So this is a tray of anemones that's doing particularly badly, and I don't know why. Anemones are slower to start than the Ranunculus, but I would have expected more from this tray by now, and I don't normally have this problem, so I'm not really sure what's going on. I mean, obviously I've had some success. I've got probably half the tray is growing. These were my bigger corms, and you can see they're creating like really good plants, but then I've had two that were big corms that haven't done anything at all. So I don't know why that is. I've no idea. And then this tray is a little sad. Now I know it looks dry, but that's because I didn't want to overwater it because it was being really slow. And if they're not growing and they get soggy, they're just going to rot. But some of them have started sprouting, and I've got some more little ones on the way. So I think I am going to have some success with these. But it's just, they're taking their time. I mean, I may not actually get any blooms out of them. I may just get leafy plants, because if it gets too hot, the Ranunculus just won't flower. So I'm hoping that they speed up a little bit. And then I've got two more trays, and these are doing really well. So with my Ranunculus and anemones, as I said, if it gets below 5 degrees, then I close the greenhouse at night. But if it doesn't, if it's not going to get below 5 degrees, I'm leaving them open, because I really want them to toughen up and harden off and be ready to go out in the garden the moment that I have an opportunity. So this is the last greenhouse, and this is a tray of mixed Ranunculus. And I wasn't sure how many of these were going to germinate, so I just put them all in one big tree. And actually I've had some really good success with this, whereas I've got more trays here where I've only got half a tray that's done anything and the other half of the tray is not doing anything. This one over here, I've got some new arrivals, but I've still got some empty cells, and that tray over there is looking good. So I don't really know what's gone on with my Ranunculus this year. These are all mixed, by the way. I don't keep my Ranunculus separate anymore. I just jumble all the colours together, and I like it that way. So these here are my tulip pots, and you can see they're all doing really well. I have had, I don't know what's gone on here with these two, because I've only sort of got half a pot that has come to life. I'm hoping that maybe they'll come to life in the future, I don't know. And some are further forwards than others, but that's normal with tulips, because some will flower before others. So all of these in the very near future are going to go out onto the patio so we can enjoy them as they flower. And then at the back there, over here, are the things that I sowed earlier on in the autumn. So let me show you those. So I'll just point out what we've got here. So this bunch here are the Honesty, and then the rest of this tray are the Sweet Williams that I haven't planted yet. And then in this tray here are the Violas and Pansies, and you can see that some of them have done better than others, and I keep finding slugs and snails are eating them, which is annoying, but we did put our Nema slug on this week, so hopefully that will solve some of the problems. Here I've just propagated some cornus. I don't know if you've seen my video from RHS Harlow Car, but they had so much beautiful winter colour that I really want to create something very similar in my garden. So what we did at the weekend was we had to cut the cornus down everywhere anyway. Cornus is dogwood, and you prune it right back so you get better colour the next season. And so we prune, in our pruning back, we also have propagated some of it, and that's what's in these pots here. And then this tray here and this tray here are all my wallflowers. Oh no, that's not true. This is all wallflowers. This tray here is all wallflowers. So at the back there are some wallflowers, and then these are all the Aquilegia that I sowed in the autumn that I haven't planted out yet. I've planted some, but not all of them. So these trays here are all the hardy plug plants that I got in a delivery recently, but they're all ready to go out in the garden now. So what I have here in this area are more of the pots of bulbs that we planted up. So you can see there are some tulips that are coming up already, and then the other bulbs are going to be a bit later. I think that's some crocuses. I've got one lonely crocus coming up a little pot there. I should probably put that on a table so I can see it. But we've taken the wire cages off now. We don't need the wire caging anymore, I don't think. But they're all doing really well. So then on my table here and on that chair there, these are all the things that I'm hardening off. So they come out during the day and then they go back inside in the evening. And so over here I've got all my larkspur. And I had pretty good germination on 2 trays, and that tray at the back was much patchier germination. I have no idea why. And then these are all the stalks that I've potted up, and they're all hardening off. I've still got some more stalks to pot up. There seems to be no end of stalks. And this tray over here on the chair, those 2 trays, they're also stalks. And then over here, these are more stalks. Those are more stalks. And then these are some Ranunculus that are not doing well. They haven't done anything yet, and so they're inside still. It's too cold for them in the greenhouse. So I keep them inside until I can see some sort of movement. These are doing a bit better this week, so I could put those in the greenhouse, but I'm just waiting for a few more to come up. And then these again are trays of Ranunculus that I didn't think were going to be particularly good, but actually I've had some patchy germination on them. So I am looking forward to seeing how many plants I get out of those. And then in here in this cold frame, these are all my spring sown sweet peas, and they're looking a little bit floppy, to be honest. They're not diseased or anything. They're healthy. They're just not as strong as I want them to be. So I'm protecting them a little bit in the cold frame, and I have the lids open during the day. So that's how I'm hardening those off. So then the only other thing I want to show you here in my cold frame is one of my failures, which is the echinacea that I sowed in the autumn, and it has not worked for me. Let me show you. It's not an absolute disaster, but they haven't grown in months, absolutely months. I mean, I could bring them inside, but I think something's eating them. There's no leaf on that one anymore. And I check them all the time. There's nothing in there. I wonder whether I should bring them in. Maybe if I bring them in to a bit of warmth, I don't know. I mean, I should be able to leave them outside. They're just not doing anything. I'm tempted to bring them in. Let's check them properly for slugs, because I don't want to bring any slugs in to my other little babies. I'm going to quarantine them and then bring them inside and see whether a bit of warmth won't speed up the growth a bit. So if you've been following me a while, you'll know that my grow room is normally in another room in the house that doesn't have any windows. But this year, that room's not available to me because we've got builders in. And so my grow room is now in the kitchen, and it's kind of taken over a bit. It's fairly ugly. It's definitely not ideal, but that is the situation this year. And it's fine. At least it means that I can check on my seedlings up to 20 times a day, because anytime I get bored, I just have a look and see if anything else has grown. It's ridiculous, actually. It's become super addictive, and I need to stop doing it because it can be really disappointing too. So what I've got here are 2 separate shelves, and one rack has got a particular kind of LED light, and the other one has got some older LED lights, and the older LED lights flicker when I'm filming, whereas these ones behind me don't. So it'll look like I haven't got lights on all of my shelves, but I do. I've just turned them off for this. And I also have 2 fans going throughout the day, but I've turned those off because they make a humming noise. So that is my setup. I've got lights on all the shelves, but you might not see, it might not look like there are lights there. Also, it may look like I've got everything on heat mats still, but the heat mats are off. I just haven't taken them off because I need to use heat mats for the ones that I'm sowing in the future. So what I've got over here in these 5 trays are my status, and I've had really good germination on those. So I'm super happy. I need to thin them in the near future. This is my melope. I've had really patchy germination on melope this year. Out of 8, I've only got 3 in that one. And over in this one here, again, out of 8, I only managed to germinate 3. I have no idea what's going on. I've had patchy germination on my blushing bride, so I need to re-sow that. I mean, that's just, actually it looks like I might be getting a second one coming up there. But, you know, I know that looks dry, but it's because you don't want them to be too wet. So I'll probably water that. But these here are my tomatoes. So I had fairly good germination there. I'm missing a couple, but that doesn't matter. I sowed loads. And here I've got the amateur where I had, I think that's a mushroom. So I've got 2 of the amateur and 3 tutti fruttis have germinated. And then this is my feverfew. And yes, I overseeded, but I don't mind having loads of feverfew. I just need to thin them out or prick them out and pot them on because I do actually want a few plants. And then as we move along here, this is one of my trays of Lisianthus. And it's got a little bit of sort of, this is just hard water. That's actually feeling, I did check it last night. No, some of them, I don't know, they're still damp. I watered them yesterday actually, but you can see that some are big and some germinated a lot later and are much smaller. So I don't know how many are going to be viable in the garden, but actually I'm quite pleased with the germination on those. And then over here are things that I've recently sown. So this is my verbena. Oh, and I should put, this is my bonariensis, which I take off the heat mat in the evening. So I put that back on the heat mat. And then at the back here, I've got my Rebecca, and these are germinating. Hopefully you can see that. So I've got tiny little Rebecca babies, which is very exciting. So the Irish Eyes and Sahara have germinated. I've got nothing on Moroccan Sun, but that was an older seed. And Goldstem, I've got nothing on those yet either, but possibly they all take a different amount of time. But I've got really good germination on the Sahara, fairly good germination on Irish Eyes. The Rebecca and the Rabina are still on heat mats. I'll probably take the Sahara off the heat and put it out of the dome because I think I've had all the germination that I'm going to get on that. And then over here, these are my failures. So be prepared. So on this one, which is still on the heat mat, still covered, I have got some Golden Crown, which I sowed on the 15th of March. So that was 10 days ago. I sowed those and nothing has germinated. All my other tomatoes have germinated, just not that one. This is a yellow cherry. This is Echinops. You can see that I've only got 3 and I sowed these, it doesn't actually say when I sowed these, but definitely a few weeks ago. Oh, I've just seen another one. So I've now got 4, maybe they're just slower. And this is my Buplorum and I've got absolutely nothing on that yet. It is difficult to germinate Buplorum, so we'll see. I mean, I've definitely managed in the past. I don't know if I'm going to manage this time. I'd really like some. And then this tray at the back, this is my most depressing tray because I sowed 2 lots of creme brulee and I've had absolutely nothing germinate. And these were in the same tray as my other phlox, so they've had exactly the same treatment as all the other phlox that I sowed. So I think that I got dodgy seeds because look at that, absolutely nothing. So I'm probably going to try again with the phlox. I'm just going to bin that lot, put it on the compost. Maybe the compost can grow some phlox for me, I don't know. But that has not worked, even though I've had them in the dark and I've kept it moist. I'm kind of giving up on those now though. So now we're moving to the next row down. And these here, this is a mixture. Again, this heat mat is not on. So here I've got Promised Rose phlox, phlox of sheep. These are some snaps that are a little bit slower. And this is Phlox Brilliant. So I haven't had patchy germination on most of my phlox this year, but I have had some, whereas the creme brulee, I've had absolutely nothing at all. And at the back here, these are all my Clarkia Godita, and I've also got some basil. So this is Clarkia May Blossom and white. This is Grace Salmon. This is Grace Shell, pink, I think. Tower Coral, Memoria, and as I said, that's Basil at the back. These two trays here are some more Lisianthus. So I had pretty good germination on everything. I've got one or two spots. I mean, this one's just come up. This one, nothing yet. And I've got a couple of patches there. This is the seed packet where, so this row is the seed packet where all the what are they called? The coatings, where all the coatings were broken, and I just had to put the whole seed packet in. So you can see that I've got multiples in some cells and nothing in the others. And as you can see, I have sticky traps in here just to keep an eye on. This is mostly soil, actually. This is not really, I don't really have any fungus gnats, but there are one or two, and I always have a sticky trap, even if I don't have fungus gnats, because that's the fastest way to be able to tell whether you're getting an infestation, is if you have a trap set, because then you'll see them straight away on the yellow sticky thing. Well, that's what I find anyway. On this rack here, these are my hibiscus. So I've got some Mahogany Splendor hibiscus here. I've had really good germination. I put 4 in each cell on purpose. And then this is a hibiscus called Trionium or something like that. And I didn't get such good germination on that. This is one of my slower germinating tomatoes called Rosella, but I have actually got 4 of those. And then this is a whole mixture here of just things that are progressing. So I've got some snaps here that need to be potted on. I've got some scabious, more scabious, and more scabious. So, I mean, this scabious, I didn't get particularly good germination on that. Which one is that? Ping pong. Yeah, pretty patchy germination on the ping pong. And then moving along, this is one of my phlox. So I don't think this is going to be successful. This is Primrose Rose. And what happened was, let me focus it. This is Primrose Rose and this is a phlox. So with phlox, you keep them in the dark until they germinate. And I kept it too long. So even though things have germinated, they're kind of not very strong. And I think they're probably not going to do well. I may have to re-sow Promise Rose. So this is Blushing Bride. You can see that I scattered more than one seed into each cell, so I've probably got enough Blushing Bride. And then here at the back, so this tray at the front is all my Cosmos. They are pretty leggy and could probably do with being outside during the day because that will make them stronger, and some of them aren't so strong. And then this tray here at the back, these are all my tomatoes. So I've got Santonio, Golden Crown, San Marzano, this is Mountain Magic, Gardener's Delight, Gigantimo, and Super Marmande. And they've all pretty much got really good germination. Did not get good germination on Golden Crown, so this is the same one as the other one that hasn't germinated. And I only got 2 of the Gardener's Delight, which is a bit weird, because that's a super popular tomato. So on this shelf down here, there are clearly some things that need to go in water immediately. It's probably too late for that little one, but I guess the compost is too dry. So I've got some scabious here. This row germinated really well. This one, Beaujolais bonnets, I didn't get a good germination on that at all. At the back, we've got some agrostemma. I had really good germination on. Also at the back there are more of my tomatoes. Those are all tomatoes of various different types. I made a video about the tomatoes that I'm sowing this year and why I chose them, so you could check that out on my channel. This is Crispedia. I had pretty good germination on that, but I'm going to lose them if I don't water them soon. Melope, again, really dodgy melope germination this year. And moving along, this is Asclepias. I think it's also called milkweed. And I've only got 1.5. Don't know what happened there. It's pretty sad. Here, these are my aubergines. I've never sown aubergines before, so I'm super happy with those. They really need potting on to bigger pots. I haven't got roots coming out the bottom, but they can definitely do with potting on. And then this is some more agrostemma, and you can see that that's pathetic germination. Just 2 germinated, 1 of each kind. So I'd quite like to sow some more of that. These are more of my stock babies, but these ones haven't been potted on, so I need to pot those on quite badly. And on the end here, I've got some more scabious. And then at the back, these are all my snaps. And, you know, I had really good germination on all my snaps, but these are a little bit slower growing than some of the other snaps I've got. But you can see how some germinate really quickly and then others just take their time. But the bigger ones definitely need potting on now. And because these are all my taller ones that need potting on quite a bit, I have a fan blowing across these all day long so that there's some movement and it just makes them a bit stronger. So then on this top shelf here, I have got more failures. I've got Melope that's done nothing at all. This is an Alba. I've got Drumstick Scabious that's done nothing at all. I've got an Agrostemma Light Rose where I just have one and they've been in here forever. 27th of February. And my Orlea, nothing, absolutely nothing. I have never had a problem germinating Orlea until this year, so I need to re-sow that. And then last but not least, I've got my cup and saucer vine up here, and it's kind of like the Triffids. They're taking over. I do need to pinch some of them out. I have never grown cup and saucer vine before. It's called Cabeus scandens, and I'm very excited that I've managed to germinate so many, but they are not frost hardy at all. So you can't put them out until it's definitely past your last frost. So I really need to pinch them to stop them taking over my kitchen, but also because that's supposed to help them branch and become bushier plants. Let me show you one of the taller ones. So this is my cup and saucer vine. This one is Alba, so this is a white one, and you can see it's got these really sticky tendrils, so you need to give it something to climb up, but actually I'm going to pinch it quite low. I think I'm going to pinch it down to there, but it's branching already, so I'm not entirely 100% sure that I need to pinch because it's already branching, but I think I'll pinch it because I've read that you're supposed to pinch it, but also then that way I can get rid of this completely crazy bit because I've got another month probably before I can put these out and I've got 10 of them. So I need to do something to stop it taking over my kitchen. It's like 2 foot tall already. The Cabea did all germinate at different times. So I've got one that's, you know, actually this is 2 in here. So I need to separate this because I've got 2. I don't know if you can see that. And then this one, I mean, they're not all successes. This one's been like this for weeks. I think it's probably not happy and I'm going to have to bin it. So I think that is a fully inclusive update of everything that I've sown so far this year and that I've made videos of, some of which I haven't made videos of. If you're interested in anything in particular, then do let me know. Write something in the comments below and I'll get back to you. I always try to respond to everybody. So yeah, let me know if you've got any questions or if there's something you'd like me to show you how I sowed and what I did, because I can definitely do that for you. In fact, I'd be really interested in helping people and finding out what everyone else is sowing. And have you had any successes or failures that you're really pleased or disappointed about? Do let me know. You know, as gardeners, it is a bit of a case of some you win and some you lose, and some years things do really well for you. I've never had a problem germinating phlox before, and this year I've had a horrendous problem, so I don't really know what's going on there. I'm definitely going to re-sow them because I can't have a garden without my annual phlox. I absolutely love Blushing Bride and I'd really like some creme brulee, so yeah, I'm definitely going to sow those again, and I really want some Orlea. There are a few things that I'm just going to chuck some seeds out in the garden, and Orlea is one of those. So I'm going to sow some Orlea just direct into the soil and see whether that works better for me, because I've no idea why it hasn't germinated inside. Maybe, I don't think my seed was old actually. I think I had new seed for that, so that's just a bit weird. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed following along and watching this video. If you want to see more like this, then do subscribe to my channel and give this video a like if you've enjoyed it. I'd really appreciate it. It does help me. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.